This is Alex Kack with 5 on 20 News. We're sitting down today with Dustin Williams, our brand new superintendent of schools for Pima County. Dustin, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
I'm glad to have you on the show. So let's tell our viewers a little bit about you. What's your background? What brought you here?
Born and raised Tucson native, and graduated from the University of Arizona. Became a teacher. Then I became an administrator, so I've been a highly qualified teacher and administrator for 9 years. And really what drew me to the position was just watching my fellow colleagues leave in droves. And after a while, I could no longer sit on the sidelines and started to kind of look at the position and investigate it a bit and took a run for it and campaigned for two years and did it really strong and
won.
And it was successful.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I know you had a primary race and then you had a general election, so yeah. You've come a long way to get here. Now that you're here, what are the plans? What's first thing on the agenda for the Dustin Williams administration?
So we've done a couple of neat things. The first thing is we're calling it a superintendent school-wide tour, and basically just getting into as many schools as possible to really tell the teachers how proud we are of them and how thankful we are of how much work they put in each day in the classroom, and really to be visible and to educate people about this position, because a lot of people don't really know about the Pima County School Superintendent.
No, that's a real thing that people are really confused about, kind of about how education is actually administrated. And maybe you could explain a little bit about what the position you've been elected to does.
Sure. So a lot of times in the campaign, I would tell people I was running for the Pima County School Superintendent, and they'd say, "Oh, you're taking over HT's position, or Patrick Nelson, or one of the superintendents of a school." But it's quite opposite. What our office does is three main functions. We manage and oversee roughly $1 billion, and we take all the money from the state through taxes or however you want to look at it, comes down to Pima County, and we allocate that money to the school districts. We also do all the bonds and all the overrides for when schools participate in that. And that's the big administrative part of our office. The second thing that we do is professional development. And that's teachings for the teachers or the staff. And we do that for all schools. So that could be private schools, traditional public and public charter, and homeschools, rurals, anything that you want to call, any service that they may need, we come out there and provide that service at the best possible cost for that education place.
See, and that's something I didn't even know. I wasn't aware of it myself, that you guys were involved in aiding charter schools or things like that.
Right.
And I feel like the charter school thing's interesting because we've seen a real uptick of that in Arizona especially. What are your thoughts on charter schools?
Charter schools are fantastic. It gives it, it's school choice, and everything is about choice. The most important thing for a family out there is what is the best fit for the child. And if it is a charter school or a private school, and it's going to be successful for that child to get the best education possible and have the best engagement for that child, then that's the choice that you got to make. One thing that we really just want to be careful with, and the concern that is out there, is equality. So a lot of the times, if you look at the numbers, sometimes our public schools right now are too heavy on ELL students, which are English language learners, or students with needs, special education. And there sometimes isn't an equal balance there. And so we want to make sure that charter schools have that accountability, and everybody shares a piece of the pie and allows all students to get the best education that they possibly can.
So, with that said, what's your biggest goal for your first year in office? What is it that you're looking, December of this year, you're looking back, but right before holiday break, what are you hoping that you've accomplished at the end of this year?
At the end of this year, what I'd like people to do is say, we know who the Pima County School Superintendent is, and not just my name, Dustin Williams, but the office, and that we become the go-to place. So we bring all the organizations that benefit schools, and we also get as much opportunity that we possibly can lend a hand for all these institutions. And so in a year from now, I hope people say, hey, if you want to get something done, or if you have an opportunity for education, go to the Pima County School Superintendent's office, and they're going to be able to facilitate the goal.
And on that note, as far as the community coming in, what in your mind is the most important thing the community could do to support our schools?
Right now, it's advocacy. It's making sure that they really understand which legislators are really backing education and which legislators are going to help get dollars in the classroom. Right now, the biggest problem that we have out there is teacher shortage. And so we need people to be educated about the ballots, the propositions, which bills are getting passed and what are not getting passed, and lending that hand, volunteering wherever they can volunteer, and coming up with an idea, and then meeting with the likes of myself in our office, and then making things and ideas turn into action, something tangible that everyone can go back and have their hand on it, and they touched it and grasped it.
And so it sounds like, I mean, this is really something where parents need to be involved, and they said they really need to pay attention to where their votes are going and where their money's going with the people that they voted for.
You're absolutely right. It's just the parents' involvement. It's a complete balance in the whole system for a child to be successful. We need that great home structure. The students got to be hopefully getting fed, doing their homework, and disciplining their children, and then working with the school and communicating with the teacher, and really, really making sure that we have every opportunity that's available for a child to be successful.
Well, and that reminds me of something I wanted to discuss. You've had a long career in education, so you've seen it from kind of the ground up, I
Sure.
feel like. What to you seems to be the biggest roadblock almost in making sure that our kids have the best education possible? I mean, what's the biggest issue that we can resolve?
It's absolutely the funding for teachers. Starting salary for teachers average is about $31,000 a year. Poverty level is $33,000 a year. So the problem that we're finding out right now is we're losing teachers. 25% of all the classrooms actually don't have a warm body in the classroom.
Are they? What is there a robot? A zombie? What do we replace them with?
Literally, kids get shifted to different classes. You have teachers that have to take a 6/5 contract, which means if they teach 5 classes and they have a planning and prep period, they got to go over and do that class. And that's in the first month. After that first month is over, 50% of our schools don't have adequately certified teachers in those classrooms. So the problem is right now, we are losing our educators to other states. And I understand that a lot of times people say that teachers go into the profession not to get rich. Well, the problem is to make a means to have a family and be successful, you can't be in poverty to go teach. Also, coming out of school, what the debt is. I mean, think about, there's just so many things that really hinder this profession right now, and we really, really, really got to make sure we take some steps to get these teachers funded at the end of the day and get the schools funded.
Huge difference between being rich and just being hungry.
Correct.
I mean, we're talking about this. I mean, that's barely above the minimum wage.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're kind of on a mission to protect our teachers.
Really, it is. At the end of the day, obviously, the office has a responsibility to 155,000 kids, and great teaching is what's going to make everything more successful in the long run. And someone's got to advocate for those teachers and those kids, and that's going to be me.
Well, it sounds that's one thing that you and I have discussed outside of this as well, is that since in the short time you've been the superintendent, I know you've been working on some projects to kind of franchise some of these students who probably are having issues with being overcrowded in classrooms. I know there was a video series that we discussed one time.
Sure.
Is that something that you guys are getting ready to launch, or?
Right now we're going to launch an art program where students can submit some art. So we're looking more of like culture and art and architecture, that sort of. We haven't gotten into any of the video ideas yet. We might look into that, but we thought we'd start out with a really cool art show that we're doing. You can go to our website or Facebook, just Office of the Pima County School Superintendent, or schools.pima.gov, and you can find us anywhere on the internet. And we just thought this would be good because we could get all participants from schools, and it would be real easy with just some sort of art situation there.
And what days is that art show going to happen if parents or community members wanted to come and view it?
The deadline is going to be to submit the end of February, and then it's going to be biannual. So I think they have until at least May, somewhere in there. I'd have to look again. We just literally launched it last week, and the details are just posted now. My communications director and constituents director just got that up.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much for Dustin Williams for stopping in. That's the biannual student art show put on by the Pima County Superintendent of Schools office. Thank you again, Dustin.
Thank you for having me.